There are certainly a plethora of games coming out this year in 2025, but there's one in particular that you definitely got to play now, and that is Path of Exile 2. So in this video, we're going to go over 3 reasons why you should be playing PoE2 right now. So let's get started. Path of Exile 2 is shaping up to be one of the better games of 2025 and beyond, and that is simply because there is an enormous amount of content in the game currently, in spite of the fact that it's still in early access. What this means is that there's going to be an enormous amount of additional content thrown into the game, much later, such as spells, weapons, and characters, and so now is the best time to jump in while the iron's hot, while the game is fresh, so that way you can therefore enjoy all of the new content as it drops out. Furthermore, this is a huge testament to prove that you don't need a ton of money to have a ton of fun. You're just paying a very small amount, and eventually the game will be free to play, but at this current time, the money you put into Path of Exile 2 is of so much value that you are going to feel satisfied with your purchase. From the intense action sequences and boss fights, to the amount of dopamine hits you get when you see your character do what you want it to do, because the game offers so much flexibility, versatility when it comes to build crafting. You can play with friends, you can go at the game solo and challenge yourself, give you that very Dark Souls feel. Again, there is a plethora of things to do, and if you're new and you want something to really just sink your teeth into, a huge time sinker, Path of Exile 2 is definitely that game, and is only going to get better and better as time passes. So, that being said, let's move on. While the gameplay of Path of Exile 2 is certainly the biggest selling point of why you should pick it up and play, we can't forget the visual and audio design, because these two in tandem really are what make the gameplay that much more satisfying. Just take a listen at this boss battle and just listen to the music and how it really feels like you're in an intense fight. That is just one of many boss battles that you do encounter throughout the game, and that particular battle on its own was quite intense for me, especially because of not only the boss itself, but because the music was really, truly invigorating. It really felt like I was in that power fantasy mode of trying to defeat this large, beastly creature in a movie, and I'm the director, I'm filming it, and I'm in control of all that's happening. And that immersion feels so much more enthralling when you have all the audio and visual cues going off simultaneously. And it's just unlike any other game. Sure, you can compare it to the likes of Diablo, but Path of Exile 2 just has something different. There's a spark that hits different. And that is truly something that makes this game shine in a lot of ways. You can be on different areas of the map, and the game will change as far as its immersiveness. Whether you're in the lush jungles, or you're just riding on a caravan, doing some simple tasks. Even just you standing and looking at your stash and hearing the background music, it's very calm and relaxing, and there's a lot of tempo. It's like an audio and visual tempo. There's going to be moments of calm, and the music really lends itself to that. And then once you're thrown into that fire, it just goes up. The gear shifts to 4, you're on max, and that boss engagement, those hordes of enemies that are sneaking up on you, really creates an unforgettable experience that once again you cannot find anywhere else. So that being said, let's move on to the last point. If you're someone like me out there who's watching, who loves creative expression, and who gets fueled by that power fantasy of versatility and flexibility in build crafting, look no further than this game. Path of Exile 2, when it comes to build crafting, offers so much depth, so much freedom, and as I mentioned earlier in the video, the game is still in early access, and yet it still offers you a plateful of content for you to devour and consume. For starters, every single element in the game can be combined to create something impactful. So for example, I main Stormweaver and I have a ranger and crossbow weapon alongside it. So I have kind of like the best of each world in that sense. So I have elemental damage, I've got poison damage, and that in tandem creates massive explosions of slowing effects, poison effects, all these ailments, freezing, ignitions, all these things coming together. It really encapsulates the real power fantasy that so many players, I feel, yearn for, because you're not locked into anything. If you ever get bored of playing with one particular weapon, whether it's a quarterstaff, you can swap off of it and you can go to playing more bow style. Or if you prefer to be more long range, you can go for a crossbow. Or if you want to just be a spellcaster, you can go for the witch and you can go for the elemental mage. The point is that Path of Exile 2 gives you that degree of real, true freedom. The game is only truly at its limits when you, the player, limit yourself. But when you take the chains off and you give yourself that freedom to explore through trial and error, you really start to see the beauty come out of Path of Exile 2. And so that is the main criteria for why you should play the game. 1, the game is beautiful. 2, the gameplay is fantastic. And of course, 3, the amount of freedom you have with regards to the gameplay experience overall is unlike any other. So hopefully this video has given you some motivation and inspired you to pick up the game and play. Let me know in the comment section down below if you are going to be picking it up, or if you have already, what are your thoughts so far? Let me know. And that being said, new warriors, as always, stay strong, keep fighting, and may the force be with you all, always. Like, comment, and subscribe for more Path of Exile 2, Valorant, and more sci-fi fantasy games in the future. See you next time. Take care. Peace.